Welcome to the Gothamcast. I am Matthew Admiral Joker Majeski. Joining me this week is Chris Cardi Kovacs and Mario Crionova Benegas. How you guys doing this week?
Wonderful.
Doing good.
All right, so let's go ahead and get things rolling here. Gotham this week. The Penguin's Umbrella. Ooh, really awesome kind of name, I thought. I thought that was an awesome title.
That was an awesome episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to think that actually you were not in the minority in that. Picks up right where the last episode left off, where Cobblepot shows up alive and Bullock is ready to punch Gordon. We then flash forward to I'm sorry. So we start with that. Then we flash forward a bit. We only actually get to see the end of that confrontation, really, unfortunately. All we do see is I think we saw him, in the locker room and them fighting and Harvey ready to frickin' take Gordon out. Because Harvey was pretty pissed off. Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
So then Gordon heads home and finds Barbara being held captive by some of Fish's henchmen, and Gordon takes him out in very nice fashion. I thought was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Falcone sends hitman Victor Zsasz to come pick him up.
Man, my skin.
So let's stop there at that point. The guy who played Victor Zsasz, what did you guys think?
Dead on.
Dead freaking on.
He even looks like every version of the comic of Victor Zsasz is always. I mean, that guy looks just like him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was creepy as all hell too.
He got the psychotic part down. I mean, just in course cutting the number of kills on his skin, and I mean all of it was very accurate to the comics.
Yeah, I liked when he jumped up on the up on the desk and he's like, "I'm here for James Gordon," and everybody's like, and he's like, "I got 50 cops." He's like, "Bitches, leave,"
and they all left.
Please, and then they all left.
Just goes to show the fear he's got. I mean,
He actually reminds me quite a bit of Clarence Brodicker from RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He does kind of carry himself like that. I'm sorry, Mario. What were you saying?
Oh no, it's just the way how he presented himself. Just that fear in his eyes, or the fear he exerts from his eyes. Just I got everybody.
Oh,
like, whoa, nice.
Well, back at the GCPD, SN finds Gordon working on arrest warrants for the mayor and Falcone when Zsasz showed up. Followed was a shootout in which Montoya and Allen saved Gordon and took him to Wayne Manor, where Gordon tells Bruce that Montoya and Allen will be taking over his parents' murder case, mainly because Gordon thinks he's gonna die. As Maroni will not give Cobblepot to Mooney, the game war between Falcone and Maroni escalates. Cobblepot leads Cabron and two other henchmen to Nikolai's hideout, killing him and Cabron. I liked this part of the episode. The stuff with the penguin was awesome. You finally get to see his machinations come to fruition somewhat.
He was strutting his stuff.
Yeah, how he manipulates and how you find out that this whole plan was set into motion behind the scenes and came to the end, and it was all set up from the beginning, which explains why Falcone had this nonchalant attitude the whole time. Everyone thought it was a weakness, but it really wasn't. He just knew what was going on, and that's the Penguin in a nutshell. He's very manipulative, and he likes to get. I mean, even if you played the games like Arkham Asylum and stuff, the Penguin, even though the Joker had that big plan, Penguin always got involved somehow. He'd always stick his nose in there, or beak, if you want to say that. And that's how he is. That's how his character is. So it's perfect.
Okay, so it of course ended with Gordon meeting Falcone. Falcone had kidnapped Barbara and was holding her captive. And Falcone actually let Gordon and Bullock live. Turns out the whole time, every plan since Gordon shot Cobblepot was all set up with Falcone. Cobblepot is actually working for Falcone, or is he?
Where is he? Yeah,
Yes,
I think
because
he's working
as a snitch. I think he's working Falcone. I think he's working both sides.
He's working both sides for sure.
Like you said, he's very good.
Great.
He's very good at being manipulative.
Yep.
Here's my theory, okay, before we get into any too specifics, and you guys can maybe comment on this or not. My theory is that from day one, and you could see kind of it coming out, especially in some of the scenes in previous episodes where Penguin is, where he killed off those guys, those guys he hired with the desserts.
Yeah, with
And,
the yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Cannolis, right? He, I fully believe that we'll find out, if not towards the end, if not very soon, that his ultimate goal is he wants to just take over everything. He wants to take out everyone, Falcone, everyone, and just be the number one and just rule everything. I believe that's his mentality in his head deep down, that's what he wants to do. And it's possible because, I mean, the Penguin, his part in Gotham is pretty huge eventually. So who knows what direction they may decide to go,
I think this Penguin is quite different than what we're usually used to. We're usually used to either the comedic version, like, Burgess Meredith Penguin, or the more modern Penguin, which is very ruthless and very smart and cunning, but he doesn't. This Penguin has
has
more
ambition.
depth.
He has ambition, too.
Yeah, because he keeps referring to Gordon as his friend.
Yeah.
As his friend. Well, okay, Gordon isn't his friend. Anybody can see that. I don't think he's delusional. I don't think Penguin's delusional at all.
I think he's just as a friend because he's got someone at arm's length that he can. It's almost like Gordon is his trump card to a lot of things, or most of the things that he's going to try to do to form his own, his own empire, his own division and such. I just think Gordon is going to play a very big trump card in this case because he can use him pretty much either against Falcone, as we all saw in this way, and particularly here, spared Gordon's life because. The Penguin told something to Falcone to say, look, XYZ, ABC, don't kill him. I guarantee you, he's going to be worth more if he's alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a tactician. The Penguin is a tactician. And we started seeing that in earlier episodes, and we kind of figured that out. But now we get to see him, really show what he's doing. And you're like, whoa, that was well done.
Oh, yeah.
That was really well done.
Especially what I loved about the very beginning, though, very close to the beginning, when he was walking down the street with his little, with his umbrella already with the crick on the leg, and his little too crowded bodyguards just moving everybody aside. Like, oh yeah, that's him.
Oh,
that's Penguin.
I love the scene in the warehouse where he goes, what your problem is? You're cheap.
Exactly.
And those guys grab him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys grab Frank
and
Frankie, and they hold him, and he's like, "Well, you're my boys." And he's like, "Well, you should have paid him better.
Should have paid him a little more."
Yeah, yeah.
He got to know his men a lot better, and pretty much kind of, gave them kind of sort of what they desired at the moment: more pay.
Well, Penguin, he's just further proving that money talks and bullshit walks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, it was interesting. What was your take on how he, when he killed him, obviously stabbed him and then, kind of caressed him on the head and then gave him a kiss on the forehead right just as he was dying? It was like, interesting. The way how that all
Did you look at the face of his henchmen? They're like, what the
They're like,
fuck?
what the heck?
I think what it is, it's a part of his psychosis. Like I think a part of him is, he's got this narcissistic, like, crazed mentality about him, which is partly the Penguin we know from the comics, like not the joking around kind, but the serious Penguin. And honestly, the way things are going, I think he's gonna go even more darker, and that's fine by me, honestly.
No, it can't get too dark. It's not broadcast TV.
Well, then again, I don't know. I mean,
Have you
it's
seen Breaking Bad?
Have you seen? Yeah, I was about to
That's
say
cable,
there's-
not broadcast. That's cable, not broadcast.
I know.
But Fox has pushed
Getting around.
pushed the limits.
Yeah,
before-
with things like the what is it called, that show with Kevin Bacon?
Following.
Following. Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say The Happening, but I'm like, oh wait, that's a
Yeah,
M.
the
Night
Following
Shyamalan movie.
pushed. Yeah, they pushed the limits.
They did push that one quite
And
a bit.
Sleepy
I can
Hollow
agree.
can be rather
Sleepy
grim
Hollow
too.
Mm,
From what I saw, I kind of quit watching it.
Yeah, I stopped watching it.
I'm kind of done with that show.
Yeah, so are most people. But back to Gotham. So after we see a nice flashback that explains that pretty much after when Falcone has a little heart-to-heart with Penguin after Fish found out he was a traitor, Penguin convinced him to let him live so he could become his snitch in the Maroni organization, and told him his plan. And he wanted Gordon to be assigned to kill him because he knew Gordon wouldn't do it.
Yep.
So that explains why they let Gordon go so easily. But it seems like that there is some sort of plan with Gordon inside the organizations, at least in Falcone's mind and in Penguin's mind. I've come and wondering what that is, because they're not letting on why they're letting him live, or why Penguin has such a connection with Gordon.
Or maybe you're looking into it too much. Maybe that's what they want you to think. Maybe this is just because if you think about it from a criminal mind's perspective, there's nothing better for a criminal to know that there can be someone they can associate with that is predictable. And Gordon is predictable. They know he's always going to do the honest thing. He's always going to be the good guy. And as
Gordon's not predictable. They didn't expect him to come with a bunch of warrants trying to arrest him.
Well, that was good, yeah. But at the same time, he still has morals and values. Mm-hmm. And the fact is, that is something that they want because they can use that in a way. Now, how they're going to use it, that's to be determined. But I think it's more of the factor of the predictability factor is what they like. Yeah. That's why they like him so much.
We didn't see too much of Bruce Wayne this episode, or Alfred, really, other than Alfred almost beating Alan's ass, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
He's like, "What you want, Mr. Mate? Gordon? You know this guy? Like, he's with me." He's like, "Oh, sorry, mate. I don't know why you went Australian."
It's about to cut the guy. It's like, you fucking what, mate?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh shit.
It's funny.
Alfred's about to cut a bitch.
I know, man. Fuck.
And I'm sad to see Nikolai go. I kind of liked him.
Nikolai,
the Russian.
which is funny because they used the Nikolai character, an older version of him, in the Dark Knight. Which I thought was funny. Yeah. And of course they got rid of him in the very beginning of Gotham. So I thought he was going to stay longer.
I wonder if Flask is going to show up in this series.
Yeah, that might be something later on, or who knows? Maybe he could be
Loeb,
a younger character,
or Loeb.
Loeb, yeah, that's true.
I like, yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities, man.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Flask was Gordon's partner in he was his partner in Batman Begins, but he's actually his partner in Year One. That there's some great scenes in there, including where some guys beat the crap out of Gordon because Gordon won't get on the take. So Gordon goes and beats the crap out of Flask. And he runs his car off the road or some shit. He goes out there and he's a Green Beret, he's fast. He throws him a bat and says, "Here, he needs a handicap."
I remember that. Yeah,
and Gordon just proceeds
to outside of his car. Oh yeah, that was
and Gordon, he throws in the bat and he's like, "Here, handicap." And Gordon just proceeds to beat the shit out of Flask to the point he's like all rough. They cut to them like in a debriefing. Flask is all messed up. He's like, "Yeah, I got jumped by like 10 guys that got the shit beat out of me." Well, it's really just Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon just beat the shit out of you.
Gordon what happened? The shit out of him.
Yep.
I love that comic.
I don't know if you've seen Year One. They animated it as well, Mario.
No, I haven't seen it
You
yet.
got
You
Bryan
should
Cranston
you should
as
maybe
Gordon.
look it up. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can't pass the fact Selena Kyle for some reason is a black hooker, but Frank Miller.
Frank Miller, yeah.
Oh boy.
Upset.
Oh no, it's pre lose your shit, Frank Miller. Actually, it's beginning to lose his shit, Frank Miller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really overall I think this episode was really, really strong. I think it was better than last week's. We got to see everybody again. We got to see Gordon trying to arrest the mayor and Falcone for a slew of charges, and you kind of wondered, might he actually get away with this? We did see that apparently Falcone's okay, or Maroni's okay with giving up part of Arkham. Whatever part of Arkham he fought hard for some reason he gave it up.
He just gave it right up.
He just gave it up. Yeah, and I thought, did you also find it interesting that, Penguin goes over and whispers in his ear, and then he mentions an area, and he takes it, and he was happy with it, which makes me wonder. There's got to be more to that we're going to find out later in the season. Like there's something about that area that we're going to find out has some kind of significance. Because you remember the guy made it's a toxic waste dump, but then the other one kind of like shushed him, and it just kind of moved along.
Nikolai's like, it's just a toxic waste dump. How do you know that? And Falcone's like, shut the fuck up, you Ruski bitch. Shut up, Boris.
Really. Yeah, seriously.
Where's your Boris bed enough looking
In the Russian space station.
Go chase moose and squirrel. Go shut up.
Oh my god.
Or go fight James Bond. Just shut up.
Seriously.
So go drifting. Get Ivan Drago over there. But shut you. I must break you.
You will lose.
You will. I must break you. He dies.
Oh my god. Anyway.
But yeah. Oh, actually, I was describing to a friend today, Gotham, and today, and he goes, "So what's great about Gotham?" I said, "Bruce Wayne's an actual detective." He goes, "Oh, what, like Gordon gets stumped in a case, so he goes to consult with Bruce?" I said, No, nothing like that. No, Bruce follows him around and tranquilizes Harvey Bullock and uses a little bow tie and mimics his voice and pretends he's Bullock and solves the cases. And if you've ever seen Detective Conan, you get that reference.
Oh, man.
In anime. But I'm like, no. But I would watch that show.
Oh, yeah.
But, I didn't really see Detective Bruce this week, but we get to see Moody Bruce this week. So that was entertaining. No Nigma, sadly.
I'm pretty sure he was trying to find way. He's probably fixing that room up since he pissed off his
Miss Christmas. I wonder if she was related to Merry Christmas from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh my god. Who knows?
But overall, I think this was a fairly strong episode. Where do you guys think it's going next week? Next week's episode is called The Mask. Hey, a reference to a Jim Carrey movie. Yeah, how about that?
How about that?
Personally, I think, this could be a big long shot, but it almost tells me Black Mask.
Maybe.
That would be great.
Maybe.
I would not be surprised if Sionis shows up in the show. I've been saying that for a while now.
That would make perfect sense, because think about this. Ivan Drago wannabe motherfucker is dead, right? So someone's got to obviously step up, right? There needs to be somebody, he needs probably more people now since, both sides they lost people. So I would not be surprised either on Falcone's side or on Maroni's side. Here comes, soon to be Black Mask down the line.
Roman
his character, right?
Well,
hopefully they use his name. I hope they don't try to use some other name.
Well, his family was rich to begin with. I mean, they were not a poor people. In fact, Sionis is an analog to Bruce Wayne. Instead of going the way of justice, Sionis went to the way of crime. His family was rather well off. People later kind of adapted the Penguin kind of into that as well. But Sionis is much more of a stronger character in that sense. Plus, he's a sick, sadistic motherfucker. I love Sionis.
I heard that Tim Burton's Penguin kind of was inspired by some of the stories used in the comics of Sionis. So
yes, there's definitely more influence with Black Mask than there is Penguin. That's probably more to do with Sam Hamm. Although I gotta admit, they actually already copied with the last week's episode. They already copied the plot of Batman Returns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kill the firstborn son.
I know. I was like, what?
I was like, are there going to be little penguins leading them underground? I'm just wondering if we're going to get to that point.
Yeah, really.
And after that, we have Harvey Dent showing up in 2 weeks. Looking forward to that. Hopefully he doesn't play too big into the show. I really don't want him to be that big. I think the relationship between him and Bruce when they're older is a key factor in Bruce's character later on. Because Bruce has quite a few failures in his career. Number 1 and number 2 is the death of Robin and the scarring of Harvey Dent. Or the death of Jason Todd and the scarring of Harvey Dent. Those are two things that really factor big into his psychosis, if you would say.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Are they going to make inclinings he could become Two-Face, or you hoping they just stick to he's some lawyer who shows up and is a big hotshot?
How old is he going to be here? I mean, this guy...
He's a lawyer.
Harvey Dent's got to be...
in his 20s.
He's got to be fresh out of either high school or fresh in college.
I've said
fresh
this
out
before.
of college.
I've said this before. By the time we finally get to these Batman villains, they're going to be in the 40s or 50s.
I was reading the information. Fresh out of college, he's
an ADA.
He's wanting to become an actual lawyer. He's also very aggressive. Like, he wants to move up as quick as possible. And I believe fully that with it all kind of makes sense, because if you think about everything that happened in this episode, which I firmly believe this episode that we saw was a turning point episode.
Oh yeah.
For obvious reasons, but we're going to find out more so going forward, and I think his character coming in now makes sense considering all the legal shit that was brought up when Gordon was like, okay, we're going to arrest him for all these charges. Well, obviously, they're going to take a look at those specific charges, and hence in comes lawyers and any kind of legal representation.
In fact, Essen even said, what DA is going to prosecute?
Exactly, and wouldn't surprise me if a young upstart like Harvey Dent is like saying, hey guys, why don't you do something? And they're like, oh, shut up, kid, you're new to this whole thing, and and it's like, we'll see.
Shut up, Meg.
Well, he'll be like, he shakes his fist, we'll see, and then a little SpongeBob cut, 10 years later.
10 years later.
Boom,
10 years later. Where's Harvey Dent?
What did I tell you?
Swear to me.
No, that's Batman.
Yeah.
Where's Harvey Dent?
Where's Harvey Dent? Yeah.
Oh man. Actually, I was going to ask this question. Well, here's one. Well, I don't know if this was uniquely to the Arkham games at all, but does the name Anarchy sort of ring a bell at all?
Yes. Anarchy is a comic book character.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's played into a few comic storylines over the years.
Sure.
Not a very. He's probably a B. I'd say he's a good B, maybe top tier C lister, maybe.
Sure.
He's a kid actually. He's actually a kid in the series, or in reality, he's a kid. He's like what, 16, 18? He's not very old at all. He's a kid. But he's just very charismatic and I forgot his actual backstory. I'm sorry. Anarchy's not one of my
you're good.
more
well-versed
villains. But he's a very good character, and if they did use him, they could actually make him Bruce's age and get away with it. Because he isn't 12, but he's like 16 maybe. He's very, very young. He's not that old.
Yeah, basically his background, you're like you said, he's a kid, is a teenage prodigy, very smart. Yeah. Batman even tries to turn him to being a good guy at one point. And Alan Grant created him with Norm Breyfogle, which he actually, he appeared. He was in the late '80s, early '90s is when he was introduced, and. Yeah, I mean, even the current rendition of Anarchy is still like a teenager because he's in the New 52.
No, he's a black guy.
Yeah, he's been. They changed his.
They affirmative actioned his ass.
Yeah.
Dude, so many comic book characters have been affirmative actioned in some form or another. That's what I'm colloquially calling it now because screw it. It's a form of affirmative. Like, we need more black superheroes and black villains. Screw it. Yeah. We got Jon Stewart, so
I could see Anarchy, also known as Lonnie. I could see him. I could see him maybe showing up as more of a
he'd
early stages.
He'd be more fitted in Arrow.
Yeah, he probably would. You're right because he has went up against the Justice League. Usually, is what he does, and most of his appearances it was against the Justice League. So it would make more sense that he'd show up in probably Arrow.
If he did show up, they did announce this week that that Scarecrow will be making an appearance this season. It will not be Jonathan Crane.
Oh, this is so. I read the same thing, and let me tell you, I love. Can I just Mario? I assume you didn't read it.
No, sorry.
No, it's fine because it's just talking about it's cool as shit because the way they're playing it. Matt probably can explain it better, but
right.
Go ahead, Matt.
It's going to be a multi-generational character. Jonathan Crane is going to be his child. It's his dad who's going to be the Scarecrow.
Yeah, and his son. This means his son's going to take over the role of Scarecrow in the future. So, in other words, it's a multi-generation Scarecrow, which is an interesting concept. I like it because I think it'll work because, it's something that I think would be more, to be honest, more realistic. Because you wonder, like, where does he get the idea? Like, yes, they kind of mentioned
where does he get those wonderful toys?
Well, in the comics, in the comics, you kind of know why because they didn't really go too in depth on his origin. But bottom line is, like, he studies. Obviously, he's a psychiatrist. His study was in fear, and he taught at a college, and of course, he got kicked out of the college because some of the stuff he was doing was hurting people, and with his fear experiments. But his key studies that he did, obviously were fear, and at some point you're going to look at archetypes like the Scarecrow, or things that were used as a kind of a figure of fear or something like that. So it's interesting that now we'll see maybe create more of a specific origin story that can almost give you an exact reason why he chose Scarecrow and not like. Because there's other figures of fear that he could have chose. Let's be honest. I mean, he could have chose a demon. He could have chose. I mean, there's. I don't have a list in front of me, but you get the point. But yeah, I like this idea because it gives more of a background to his him becoming the Scarecrow himself when he confronts Batman in the future.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be entertaining. We'll see what happens. Also, they recently released some ratings information. A month after Gotham premiered on Fox, it has hit a total platform audience of 22.2 million, according to the network. A 168% bump over live plus same-day audience of 8.3 million that tuned in on September 22nd.
So people watching it online viewed it more than people watched it live.
Yeah, and it's huge. Gotham, 2.2 million viewers? That's a lot.
That's a lot of viewers.
A lot of people.
Yep. Thank God for that.
I mean, considering that they got rid of Being Human for this show,
good choice.
Might have been a wise choice. It'll be interesting to see what happens after the episode coming up. Not the Harvey Dent, the one after that. Oh, what's it called? I had the title here a second ago. I'm sorry.
Was Being Human the one with
Carl Urban and the robot?
Yeah, my favorite, one of my favorite shows that didn't get a second
season.
He's
my favorite actor.
Oh yeah.
I did like that show only because not a lot of shows like to touch that idea too much. I liked it
because it had Carl Urban in it, and I just imagined it was Judge Dredd instead.
Pretty much.
Did you say the one after the Harvey Dent episode?
Yeah, Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be the last one from the original episode order. So I wonder if they're going to wrap up some of these storylines in that one and then go in a different direction, or if they knew they were getting renewed and didn't really try and wrap anything up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially since that's the last episode before the break, the winter break.
Okay, I
Speaking
see that,
of the winter break, Cardi, want to make an announcement?
Yes, I would. So we had some little backroom chatting and decided that it would make more sense for the show going forward because of the topic of Gotham. It's one topic. We also like other comic book related TV shows and movies. And let's be honest, as you even heard through this episode, we started to kind of go off topic sometimes on other ones. So we said, fuck it. We're going to now make Gothamcast into a show just about all the comic related TV shows and movies. And so the next episode of Gothamcast will be that. It'll be. I guess we haven't really decided on an exact name yet.
I'm leaning towards Comic Vision.
Comic Vision is possibly a name, but we'll figure it all out. But this is the actual last episode of it being called Gothamcast, and then the next episode will be under the new format, which we all believe. I think together it's going to be better for everybody and open up a better discussion. And to be honest, more interesting because I really I'm itching right now to talk about what's happening on the Flash and also what's happening on the Arrow.
I gotta get caught up.
I wish you bitches would catch up.
I'm getting caught up this weekend.
Listen, why don't I know you guys were talking about a date and all that, Matt and your wife and Mario and your wife, you guys are going to go see John Wick. Mm-hmm. Why don't we go after that, meet at Matt's and let's catch up with the episodes. I mean, if you had time, that is. I don't know what your plans
later that
are.
night I'm doing the Alien Isolation live stream.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, and my wife, she works Sunday, so we have to be home a little bit earlier. But we'll definitely make it happen some other time, man. Definitely will.
I will be marathoning them here soon.
Sorry, we better edit out that last part, because we just kind of started talking like a normal conversation.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
I don't edit.
Oh, well then, I guess who gives a shit?
I don't edit unless it's Brody coming in and doing something insane, and then I gotta cut it. But
yeah, that's how we roll, man. Fuck it. Let's
live.
It's rules. It's live. That's what you get for live.
So we're gonna be switching gears. I am actually working on possibly getting another person involved. I got another friend who is actually maybe interested as well. I'm talking to him right now. He'd be more of a cynical kind of person, which would be a different contrast to us because we tend to love everything.
Yeah,
cynical.
And he's very hardcore a comic book guy. So, Chris, you might remember him, John Kelly.
Yes, I do. I know John, and me. It'll be good because it's good to have someone else in here that reads as much comics as I do. He probably reads more than I do.
John's more of a Marvel guy.
He is.
He'll go off on how much he hates the Spider-Man movies. Because they're not Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. It's not Spider-Man. It's the Mary Jane story.
The Amazingly Stoned Spider-Man.
Amazingly Stoned Spider-Man would probably be better.
Dude, he was.
By the way, Chris went to the comic book store. Awesome.
Like it, right?
Loved it.
Yeah, Readmore is nice. I like the people there.
Do they have lighting? Do they have an actual working fluorescent light system so it isn't dark and dingy like many comic book stores I go to?
Oh, yes, it's well lit.
And does it have that stink of really old pizza in the
the air? It smells nothing but fresh, brand new comics, man.
Dude, that place is honestly my favorite comic book shop. It is.
Definitely, it's definitely worth the time there. I bought Civil War, the graphic novel that you recommended, so I got the first one, and then I bought the Laughing. The Last Joke? What was it called again?
Oh, the Laughing Joke.
The Laughing Joke. I also bought that as well.
Also, make sure before you finish, you can even wait till you finish the Civil War. Mm-hmm. I don't believe the Civil War one includes the Fallen Sun. I think if I remember correctly, they separated it. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, they did. I know because I have it. What am I saying?
Is the first comic book for Civil War The Amazing Spider-Man 529? Is that technically like the first one you should read?
Yeah, but if you read the graphic novel, it pretty much starts where you need to
Just
start
remember,
off.
none of it matters after one more day.
Oh,
Okay.
one more day. That's funny, but he's right. But anyway, yeah, the Civil War thing. Read through it all, and then I would go buy the Fallen Sun, which covers all the stuff that happened after Civil War, which led up to, as you already know, Captain America got pew, pew, pew.
I love that
pew,
Marvel
pew,
did
pew,
one
pew.
more day and managed to piss off their readership, and DC said, "Hey, we can piss off our readership too." New 52.
New 52, yeah, it's like I swear to God, DC and Marvel meet. They have their head guys meet
How
in
can we
like
really piss off
a
our fan base?
Starbucks in some random city, and they just like come up with evil schemes to piss people off.
And Dark Horse is
I
like,
really
"Fuck, we just lost our major money maker.
Dark Horse, oh yeah,
They lost Star
We're
Wars.
done.
They are fucked.
Star
They
Wars
are
is
so
yeah.
fucked."
And Marvel's got it
Because
now.
Dark Horse went strictly a couple. No, it's off topic, but Dark Horse went strictly licensed comics a while back. The only thing they really have, I think, is
Yeah.
Hellboy and maybe one or
Hellboy.
two other things. But everything else is licensed, and most of their big licensed property were Star Wars. And now Disney's like, we're not renewing our contract in, 2015, 2016? They're not renewing?
It's coming up soon, yeah, because they want to do their own. Marvel wants to put out. Well, actually, I think I heard it was like DC, not DC.
Marvel.
Disney is going to have a branch of like it's Marvel, DC, or
Marvel will be putting out
or
Star
not
Wars
DC,
comics
but
again.
Disney. I keep saying DC. Exactly. It'll have kind of a Disney brand on it under Marvel,
Yep.
and that might be the Star
Which
Wars
trivia, the original comics, Star Wars comics, were done by Marvel,
Yep.
which aren't in continuity anymore. They weren't in continuity even in the old EU continuity either. Those
Speaking
are
of-
some freaky ass comics if you ever want to read some fucked up Star Wars comics, man.
Yeah, the stories are really wild. Speaking of Star Wars, anyone watching, stick around for 4TW Live. We will try to get into some Star Wars news later on in the episode. So
Yes, yes, we will. Alrighty, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and cut the Gothamcast short because 4TW Live is gonna be really long this week. We're gonna be actually watching our first segment's gonna be watching the brand new Nintendo Direct and doing the live commentary. So stay
Hooray!
tuned. Yes, we'll be coming back in that in about 10 minutes or so. So. Since I'm going to cut this episode, Chris, Cardi Kovacs, where can they find you? Real quick. Go, 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 go.
4TWnetwork.com. That's it.
Mario, where can they find you?
Facebook, Mario, Benegas.
Fine. And you can find me at 4TWnetwork.com. Go to 4TWnetwork.com/forums and go to the forums and talk about the show. Let us know about the changes to the format that we're going to be making next week. And let us know what you think. Also, be sure to go to AdmiralJoker.com because there's nothing there at all right now. I don't know why I don't post anything there. I'm just crazy. Okay, you guys have a good night.
Christ.
Night, guys.
All right. See you, man.
See ya.
That's fucking lost it.
Can't lose what I never had.
Somebody really took his